the Cowboys. They are so loaded with new weapons on offense, as well as their old weapons on offense. This could be the best offense in football, depending on the performance of your quarterback.
Oh, walk into him?
Yeah, limp it to him. I'm watching Arcega-Whiteside, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, a second-round pick out of Stanford, and I watched him at Stanford, and he is a red zone monster.
Yeah.
He's a former...
They normally just throw him jump balls.
Jump balls. He's only 6'2", but he can leap. And he just looked like a flat-out stud last night. You just watch him run where you just say, uh-oh, that guy can play, right? I thought Dallas Goedert as a backup tight end was really good. I wanted Dallas to draft Dallas. But now, I mean, they only have Zach Ertz, and now they got that, and Darren Sproles is back. And wait a second. You've got Jordan Howard in the backfield now, and you still have Alshon, and you still have Aguilar.
And D-Jack.
And now, wait, Deshaun Jackson is back? Seriously?
Yeah.
And Pro Football Focus says the Eagles have the best offensive line in football?
Yeah.
That's an embarrassment of riches in Philadelphia, except for maybe the quarterback.
Don't do that, Skip.
Not sure about the quarterback.
You should be very sure.
So, again, I've told you before, I'm going to say this again. The Eagles should win the NFC East.
No, say it again.
Wait. Let me finish. They should, but they won't because of the quarterback.
No.
My quarterback versus your quarterback. It's going to come down, and my quarterback beat your quarterback twice last year. He dramatically outplayed him in 2 fourth quarters and an overtime.
I want you to rephrase what you tried to say. Say it with me slowly. Eagles will win the NFC East.
I will not say that.
I mean, you wrote a lot of headlines, right? Did you write a lot of headlines?
No, I don't. I didn't.
Did you write a headline?
I didn't write my headlines.
You didn't write the headline?
No.
Okay, well, they're good. So that
Speaking of headlines, I read this one yesterday on ESPN.com. Thank you for setting me up for that. Headline, ESPN.com. Carson Wentz was burdened and in pain. Here's how he left that behind. Well, that's debatable. Did he really leave it behind? Long story, good story. I read every word of it because I was engrossed.
Of course you are. Anything that might be negative about Carson Wentz.
So the lead is about how Carson sat down with his spiritual mentor, his family friend, his pastor, and he let everything out. God bless him. I hope that this is true that he did. And the quote from Carson was, I don't want to say that I was in a negative light, but I just sometimes let the stress get to me. The injury stress, the lack of performance kind of stress. I told you there'd be games where I'd watch him and he just looked antsy and nervous in the pocket, and he looked a little deer in the headlights. And the reason I think he might be a little nervous right now is because the story also points out that every time Wentz walks off the practice field at the Eagles facility, heads to the locker room, he passes through a corridor where a life-sized image of Nick Foles stares back at him from the wall, part of a tribute to the Super Bowl championship of which Foles was named MVP. So he walks off the practice field and he looks up, and a life-size Nick Foles is looking back at him, reminding him, wait a second, that guy did win Super Bowl. You know what? When I read this, I thought they should just take that down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you should.
That's just not fair.
Oh, it is kind of weird.
You only got to take it down, Skip, but you can move it.
Okay.
So you don't have
could put it. You don't have it right in his line of sight where he has to walk off the practice field after a bad practice and say, God, would he have stunk it up like I just did?
That's kind of weird.
And Malcolm Jenkins, their veteran leader, said that, meaning that life-size cutout there, has to have some kind of effect on you. Well, yeah, I would say so. Nick Foles, by the way, looked pretty good last night, but Josh McCown looked even better.
I mean, Eagles, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What person you know gonna let you have a life-size cutout of your ex up in the house? That's what they got. They got a life-size cutout of the man ex up in the house, Skip Bayless.
Well,
man, they got to do something with that. If I walk into him, I say, y'all got to get that up out of here.
Unless he's bigger than that. He's just so good, he can just rise right above that life size. He can turn it into a non-human, just a big bunch of paper.
They can move it, Skip. They can put it somewhere else where it's not as visible. That didn't diminish what Nick Foles accomplished, and you're glad that he did. You got an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. But it doesn't have to be in the man. It doesn't have to something that he has to pass every single day.
So here comes Josh McCown, which I thought was an extraordinary, shrewd pickup by them, because obviously the two kids, the younger quarterbacks, both got hurt behind Carson
Another
Wentz.
reason people don't want to play preseason games.
Okay, there you go. And yet, here comes Josh McCown, 40 years of age, very close to Alshon Jeffrey because they had a rapport when he was a Chicago Bear.
Yeah.
And boy, you were talking about showcasing last night. They let him have his head. He's just rocking and firing. He threw 24 passes last night and completed 17. And Arcega-Whiteside, old JJ, he had 9 targets and caught 8 for 104 yards and a touchdown. And I'm sitting back saying, you know, Josh McCown's looking a lot like Nick Foles used to look.
Stop it,
right?
Skip, baby.
I'm just telling you.
We read this book.
Yeah.
We just read it.
We've been reading it for 2 straight playoffs. We read this book.
And what's happening, Skip, is that no matter what, Little Red Riding Hood, whether you read it in Spanish or Russian or German, it doesn't matter. It's still the same.
Really?
Yeah, the big bad wolf is trying to eat Little Red Riding Hood.
I never read it.
Well, I'm just saying.
No.
It's the same.
Not Russian.
So
French, maybe.
we know who and what Josh McCown is. He's 40 years of age. He's played, 18 years in the league.
Yep.
And guess what, Skip? His teams has never made the playoffs.
But he did step in for Jay Cutler that one year in Chicago, and he out-Cutlered Cutler down
Did
the
they make the
stretch.
playoffs?
No.
Okay,
They
then.
were really good for about
Forgot about
5 or
that.
6 games.
They were great, and I thought they should have kept him and moved on from Cutler, but they didn't, and they probably wish they had. But that's neither here nor there. Skip, he's not the answer. Now he's a stopgap.
Well, he might have to be the answer if limping to him gets hurt again.
Hopefully, walking to him, he can stay behind that offensive line, and he knows he can't play hero ball. Get the ball out of your hand. There's a time and a place for everything. You don't have to get every first down. Throw the ball away, and if situation call for it, you scramble and get it. But he can't take those shots. He can't put his team. He's too valuable to his team in order to put himself in harm's way to try to get an extra 3 or 4 yards or to get a big-time completion. There'll be time and a place for that, but you got to be very, very careful of that.
So how did Nick Foles become the Magic Man, become so beloved in the locker room? Carson just couldn't stay healthy the last 2 years.
Well,
right?
he had a situation where Carson Wentz stunk it up. Not Carson Wentz, but Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Your guy. Did you remember what he did when he came to the NFC Championship game, Skip? Stunk it up.
That defense was flying.
No,
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And Nick Foles was magical in
People-
that game.
people
That
thought-
that was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen any quarterback play.
It was so bad out there, people thought Waste Management had went on a strike or something. That's how
Really?
Case Keenum was stinking
That
up
is
Philly.
right?
harsh.
Yeah, exactly. He stuck it up just like that. And then
He'd just thrown the Minnesota Miracle.
and then he got a situation where he says, you know what? If I can just stay toe-to-toe, if I don't let old Tom terrific, if I don't let him go run and hide and just get him to the fourth quarter, because I know he'll make a mistake. That's the mistake that people make with old Tom. They don't make him play all the way to the end because he gonna give you one. But they didn't let him do that. So
Really?
Yep.
Nick Foles hung 40 on Belichick.
Don't do that, Skip.
40. Could Carson Wentz have hung 40? I think not.
He'd about to hung 47.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz has played how many postseason snaps in his career? 0.
That changed.
0.
That changes.
This is why
this year.
I continue to tell you, your quarterback has the most pressure of any quarterback in football on his shoulders this year.
Oh, no. It's going to be your quarterback. Because as soon as you get that $35 million, you know with $35 million, that's supposed to be automatic Super Bowl. Can you imagine the pressure? Because all the great quarterbacks in Dallas got them. Troy got 3. Roger got 2.
Speaking of contracts, walk it to him. Already walked right into his, right?
70 mil.
He got a record $108 million. We're talking about Todd Gurley got 45. He got 108. Nobody in football has that much guarantee.
He got about 75, 78 at the time of signing. So he put his name, he put walk it to him. That's what he heard he said he's going to change his name to.
Really?
Walk it to him.
I don't even know what that means.
You do know what he walking. Oh, when he throw them old long TD passes, they look like handoffs to me.
Really?
I can't tell if I'm like, did he throw that? Or did he run down there and just place the ball in the man's stomach?
Really?
Yeah, that's how he got the name Walk It To Him.
Boy, he placed one in the Wolf Hunter's stomach.
What?
It was fun.
The Wolf Hunter
Yeah,
won't
he
get one
was,
this
he
year.
was going back the other way.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Todd Gurley placed his helmet, him and CJ, in the Wolf Hunter's stomach.
Yep.
You remember he was on the sideline? Dry heaving.
So I'm always slightly skeptical when I read stories like this on ESPN.com.
You ain't
or whatever.
skeptical. No, you're not.
Skeptical about these big
Which part?
transformations in the offseason.
Yeah.
You know, he went vegan. He dropped, they said, maybe 10, 15 pounds. So he does look slimmer. I'll give him that for sure. And he's just like cleaned up his whole psyche and life. And he's a new guy. He's a new man.
So what?
You buying it?
So that's the only way you can clean up your life and stop eating meat?
I don't know. He said for two months he did not eat beef. And
But
this,
now
this
he's
is
still
a
vegan, or-
game hunter here, you know.
I mean, I could give it up for 2 months,
Yeah,
Forever.
but I ain't.
yeah, but you,
Why would I do that?
vegan.
Interesting.
So
I
is
don't
he
know.
going to play vegan this year? Yeah, I don't know.
Vegan products don't taste too tasty.
Yeah.
You have to be
Well,
creative.
nobody has more offensive weapons than your quarterback.
And
Surprised-
Nobody
admitted
has
it.
a better offensive line than your quarterback.
And nobody-
makes more money than your quarterback. Can he live up?
and nobody's going to win more games than the Eagles
Yeah.
in the NFC.
We'll see about that. They should win the division. but
They will.
won't. And it'll come down to my quarterback over your quarterback because that's what happened last
Well, your
year.
quarterback, you said your quarterback's going to be higher paid than mine. So who's going to have the pressure? The pressure will
I don't
shift.
know that he will. He'll take a little Brady-esque.
Hey,
hometown
no, he
discount.
ain't. No,
Yeah, he
Todd
will.
France ain't going to let that happen. Todd France is not going to let that happen.
He might.
That's one thing about quarterbacks.
In the end, it's not the agent's call, it's the player's call.
Well, he could have. Well, the story is they got between 30 and 32 on the table for him right now. And he ain't calling them back.
Well, he
He
might.
said he ain't calling back. He said, I'm busy. Changed his number like 4 times.
It's still early.
It is still early-ish. The days are counting
The
down.
number you've called is no longer in service. If you feel you reached this number in error,
Your
please
only
hang
hope.
up and try again.
It's your only
Thank
hope
you.
that there's a contractual
Well done.
impasse.
Well
What
done.
difference does it make?
My guys are going to be happy on game day
They
one.
will.
Yep,
They're not-
happy.
You see that money walking to him, guy? He got about 80 mil.
But you know the number he sees? That 0 that Skip mentions.
He
in
about to have a 1.
playoff
He about to get a 1.
appearances.
1.
That one's the one that I think
First
on
playoff
the-
win.
I tweeted late last night, if the Eagles make the wild card, how many games can Josh McCown win in the postseason?
Well,
Because
we-
that's what happens,
well, we
right?
don't-
That's just
Did
what
you
happens.
really tweet that?
I did.
Wild card don't
It's
even matter.
smart.
Don't
It's
even matter.
deep.
Very
Doesn't
deep.
even
I'm
matter.
sure some of those
Y'all
fans
not making the
really
playoffs,
liked it.
so don't have to worry about wild cards, home field, anything.
All right, guys, we're going to switch gears to Coach Belichick.